again then guys, and welcome to episode 7 of Days Gone By, the review series for Gran Turismo's selection of classic and also some vintage cars. And in this particular pick, we're actually talking about one of my personal favourite classics in the game. I absolutely love this car. It's the Prince Skyline, or the BLRA-3 Skyline. One of the rarest Japanese classics, one of the rarest Skylines. Very, very few of these were produced. And it was designed to be a more upmarket, more Italian-esque version of the Skyline. And it's certainly achieved that. It's a fantastic looking car as far as I'm concerned, with some styling cues that are very reminiscent of both the Gordon Keeble and also the Rolls-Royce Camargue, I believe it was. Interestingly, cars which are also pretty rare. So what does this particular model give you on the game? Because it's ultra rare to see people using this car. In fact, this is one of those very few cars on Gran Turismo which, despite the fact that it has been on the game for quite a while now, it was first introduced on GT4, I take this car out in public lobbies and people still don't know what it is. I park up in, say, cruise lobbies around Sierra or whatever circuit, and people just don't have a clue what this car is. I often get the question, what on earth is that thing? Because people just don't use it. It's so easy to overlook the car completely in the Nissan dealership, because of course the Nissan dealership is the biggest dealership in the game. There are so many cars to look through, and you can just easily overlook this one. So, what does it give you? Well, one of the things it gives you is an empty wallet, because it's a seriously expensive car. 320,000 credits is serious cash for not just a classic, but a non-premium classic at that. It is of course not the only expensive classic in the game. There are plenty of classics which cost multi-millions, which we've already featured in the past on the channel, and there are some others with a six-figure price as well, such as the Toyota 2000 GT. But this is nonetheless an expensive car, especially for a Skyline. So what do you get for that price? Well, you get a 1.9 litre turbo engine, rear-wheel drive, and it puts out a maximum of just over 250 horsepower when fully tuned. So not exactly breaking the bank. It also puts out 231 foot-pounds of torque, which is pretty decent, and it weighs in at 1105 kilos, which is actually quite good given that it's not a particularly small car. It only puts out 228 horsepower per tonne, which when you think about it isn't surprising at all given that it doesn't have a huge amount of power to work with. And the PP is also very, very low, 432, actually one of the lowest fully tuned PPs of this entire series. So it doesn't exactly sound good, to be honest, for that kind of money. 320 grand is almost Zonda money. So why buy it? Well, from a performance point of view, to be completely honest and to put my personal feelings aside, which I try to always do in these reviews, there's actually relatively few reasons why you should buy this car. From a performance and competition point of view, it's actually not worth the money. It's not overly quick. The top speed is around 160 under its own power. The acceleration is far from inspiring, and even the handling isn't amazing. It's okay, especially for a car of its size and age, but it's not amazing. So, why buy it? And why do I love it so much? Well, to be honest, the main reason why I love it is because I just think it's a fantastic looking car. It's actually the same reason why I love the Infinity Vision Gran Turismo. It's not a particularly good car for the money, but I absolutely love the way it looks. Likewise with this car. For me at least, the BLRA-3 Skyline is purely and completely a collector's piece. This is not a car which you should ever buy with racing in mind. It can race, but it's just not a competitive machine at any PP level. You can use it and maybe you might win a race once in a blue moon, but it's just not that kind of car. It's not a race car. It's not designed to be a racing vehicle. And although there were 1 or 2 racing versions in real life, it's not as famous as any of the other racing Skylines. For good reason. It's just not designed for that. So for 320 grand, if you're looking for pure performance and to have a competitive classic, then you may want to steer clear of this car. If, however, like me, you just love classic cars, rare classic cars, cars which nobody else really uses, and cars which are just nice to own, really for the sake of owning them, then it's a perfect car. It's probably my favourite cruising car in the game. I love taking this car out and just pottering around the track in it. It's incredibly fun to drive, and it's just that kind of car. It's just a cruiser, nothing more, nothing less. Even with 250 horsepower, it's not particularly quick. It's fast enough to be fun, but certainly not going to set any speed records anytime soon. I would never recommend it for racing. It's not a particularly good drift car either, funnily enough, and the handling is not that great, to be honest. It's okay, but it's a little bit heavy, if anything. So, kind of an odd review, because I love the car, even though it's technically speaking not a very good car. For racing, you may want to avoid it. For the fun of driving, the fun of cruising, and just for the sake of having a really nice looking collector's piece, well then it's a fantastic car. But that's it overall for this particular review of the Prince Skyline, or the BLRA-3, and I'll see you guys next time. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.